Good evening and welcome to Red's Classic Theater. This week we've come to the banks of the mighty Fraser River in search of one of the oldest and largest game fish in North America, the wily and elusive sturgeon. Hi everybody, I'm Red Robinson, and sports guide Ken Fraser is about to take us out on the river to catch the big one. And we'll talk to Ken about the great sport of sturgeon fishing in our next segment. Our movie this week is the 1991 musical drama For the Boys with Bette Midler and James Caan. Known as two of the most difficult actors in Hollywood to work with, some directors would rather have open heart surgery without anesthesia than try to control Midler and Caan on a movie set. But veteran director Mark Rydell found a way to control them well enough to get solid performances from both. And we'll have more movie background notes later. Now, here's Act One of For the Boys. This week on Red's Classic Theater, we're on the Fraser River fishing for Fraser River sturgeon. And with me to show me what's going on here is sports guide Ken Fraser. Ken, describe the sturgeon, an unusual fish.
Yeah, very, very large, dinosaur-like. In fact, that's the age it came from. Up into the 14, 15-foot range, we've seen them. They've been documented bigger than that. We don't know how big they actually get, but...
Why is the Fraser River so good for sturgeon fishing?
Basically, it is, even though there's a lot of industry down the southern end of it, mostly it's undamaged. It's still free-flowing, no dams on it. Gives the area, it's got some areas for the sturgeon to spawn as well.
We'll be back with more in just a moment. Takes a while to bring them in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's too bad we didn't get a real big one there yet.
If you'd like to catch one of these monsters, call TV 12 tomorrow morning and we'll put you in touch with Ken Fraser of Fraser's Tackle in Mission. Now let's return to our movie, For the Boys. Hope you're enjoying For the Boys this week on Red's Classic Theater. Tonight's movie was a major step on the comeback trail for actor James Caan, who'd suffered professionally and personally in the 1980s. 2 failed marriages, money problems, and some bad career moves. As a matter of fact, if it hadn't been for Bette Midler, he wouldn't have been in tonight's movie. Caan was definitely not who Midler had in mind as a leading man. I was skeptical, she said, and then I looked at Funny Lady and Harry and Walter Go to New York. He was hilarious. To build up a rapport between his 2 temperamental stars, director Mark Rydell had them take tap lessons together. It was torture, Midler recalled. Both of us were overweight. I was ashamed of the way I looked. But at the end of 4 months, both had lost 20 pounds apiece, and more importantly, they had bonded as a team. Now back to Bette Midler and James Caan in For the Boys. For the Boys is our feature movie this week on Red's Classic Theater. If Bette Midler was taking a gamble on James Caan, director Mark Rydell took a gamble on tonight's entire movie. To start with, Rydell hadn't had a directing job in 7 years. For 5 of those years, he'd been working on a screenplay for the film Nuts. Originally planned as a vehicle for Deborah Winger, the studio decided to give the picture to Barbra Streisand. After Rydell and Streisand butted heads a few times, the director soon found himself without a job. Well, after that experience and another failed project, Rydell was counting on the success of tonight's movie to revive his career, so much so that he took a cut-rate fee in return for a share of the profits based on the number of Oscar nominations the film would earn. That number, unfortunately, was just 1. Now let's return to For the Boys. This week on Red's Classic Theater, we're featuring For the Boys. After tonight's movie was released, Bette Midler and 20th Century Fox found themselves in the midst of a lawsuit. Actress and comedian Martha Raye, a real-life USO veteran, sued the two, contending that For the Boys was really her life story. Her suit asked for $5 million in damages. The courts decided that although there were some similarities, the overall plot of the movie did not parallel Martha Raye's experience. Ironically, in 1992, Bette Midler sued an advertising agency for using a look-alike, sound-alike performer in a car commercial. And although Bette Midler won the case, many insiders felt that the advertising agency was doing to Bette Midler what Bette Midler had done to Martha Raye. Now let's return to For the Boys. From our Fraser River fishing expedition, time for a weekly movie trivia quiz. Mark Rydell holds the distinction of having directed Bette Midler in her 2 Oscar-nominated films. One was for tonight's film. Can you give me the title of the other? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment. Time now for the answer to our movie trivia quiz. Bette Midler received her first Oscar nomination for her role in The Rose, directed by Mark Rydell. Now let's return to For the Boys. Next Sunday night on Red's Classic Theater, Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner are throwing everything they have into their roles as a couple in the throes of a nasty divorce. Danny DeVito also stars and directs The War of the Roses, our movie next week on Red's Classic Theater. And that brings this week's show to a close. Hope you enjoyed For the Boys with Bette Midler. And we'd like to thank Ken Fraser of Fraser's Tackle and Mission for hosting our show this week. If you'd like to know more about catching sturgeon on the Fraser River, give us a call at TV 12 tomorrow morning and we'll give you Ken's phone number. I'll see you tomorrow morning on 650 CI with the Wake Up Club. And next week here on Red's Classic Theater. From Mission and the Fraser River, thanks for being with us and good night, everybody. For the Boys on Red's Classic Theater will continue. Our sturgeon fishing trip on the Fraser River will continue in a moment. Our sturgeon fishing trip on the Fraser River will continue in a moment. We're in search of a prehistoric monster this week on Red's Classic Theater. Sports guide Ken Fraser will show us how to fish for the elusive sturgeon, a 200-million-year-old species that can grow to enormous size. Our movie this week is For the Boys with Bette Midler and James Caan. We'll give you some behind-the-scenes scoop on the making of the film and tell you about a court case that was caused by its release. I'm Red Robinson. Join me, won't you?
Sunday night at 10 on TV 12.
We're in search of a prehistoric monster this week on Red's Classic Theater. Sports guide Ken Fraser will show us how to fish for the elusive sturgeon, a 200-million-year-old species that can grow to enormous size. Our movie this week is For the Boys with Bette Midler and James Caan. We'll give you some behind-the-scenes scoop on the making of the film and tell you about a court case that was caused by its release. I'm Red Robinson. Join me, won't you?
Tonight at 10 on TV 12.
This week on Red's Classic Theater, James Caan and Bette Midler are the toast of the troops in For the Boys, Sunday night at 10 here on TV 12. Tonight on Red's Classic Theater, Bette Midler and James Caan are the toast of the troops in For the Boys, tonight at 10 here on TV 12. For the Boys on Red's Classic Theater, Sunday night at 10. For the Boys on Red's Classic Theater tonight at 10.